All right, guys, I took last week off of making watch list videos. I was still trading. I was still posting the watch list on the member page, but I just took a week off of making the video. So now I'm back to it. Was kind of nice, but it's also nice to be back making videos to kind of better explain what's on the watch list. So showing you the SPY here. We're still, kind of flagging. But I will say, in the past week or so, trading's been definitely squinky, right? I had 5 green days last week, but I feel like probably 2 of them could have been red because the market's just pretty squinky and it's making it harder to trade, and you get kind of bored because there's not a lot setting up. So then you find yourself trying to create trades in your mind that aren't really there. They're not really A plus, and I've done a little bit of that myself. So I'm really going to focus on being self-aware this week, making sure I catch myself before I do something stupid, right? I think we've done a great job of identifying the stock to watch, so to speak. Hey, this one is absolutely worth watching for a pullback, that sort of thing. And that's where I've made most of my money, honestly, is the big mover intraday pullbacks on them, using the methods we teach. So let's get to the watch list. Try that again, CTIB. I don't love this, but actually the chart doesn't look bad here. It feels like it's coiling, but the reason it's really on the list is because in after hours, this went up to almost 3 on Friday. Having said that, it went out at about 235. So I don't know if it was just some Discord room pump or something. So it's just sort of on my radar, but if it is gapping and maybe there is some news that I didn't see, then it'll become more interesting Monday morning. But it doesn't cost me anything to put it on a chart. MRIN, this is an interesting stock. You had the gap up, the rip, then the gap down. And usually when a stock, here, let me kind of zoom in a little bit. Usually when a stock does this, and then everybody from this day is left hanging with a nasty red day the next day, got tons of bag holders, usually that stock's done, right? For months. And then Friday, all of a sudden it caught a bid and ran all the way up over 450. I had a really nice pullback trade in that one, by the way. But it did sell off at the end of the day. So this, it just kind of lands on my watch list for a potential setup. It's hard to tell who's winning right now, right? You had this big day, then you had this nasty red day sucking some shorts, then you had a big day, but you got 2 topping tails. So for me as a day trader, it just goes on a chart, for potential intraday setup because it's showing such manic moves. I hope that makes sense. GLBS, this is maybe the ugliest chart I've ever put on my watch list. And I'll show you the reason why in a second it's on, but you see they did a reverse split. I don't know, it's like 4 days ago. And so it's just kind of tagging along down here, probably close to all-time lows. It's not a pretty chart, but let me switch to 15-minute candles. The fact that it ran on, this would have been Thursday, from let's just say the run started at around $8, it ran all the way to 11.50 before, just tailing off completely the rest of the afternoon and Friday morning as well, and then kind of caught a sideways bid. So there's nothing pretty about this chart. But as a day trader, sometimes they try to create themes like, oh, the shippers are going, or the recent reverse splits are going. Well, this one is in both of those categories. But it's only on watch because I made this big move. I think I made 1,100 on this one on Friday, just, from here to here, or whatever. And it's almost a round trip, so it makes me like it a lot less. Just suffice it to say, GLBS is on watch because of the intraday move on pretty good volume that it made on Thursday. All right, but it's not very pretty. Hope that makes sense. LYL, bunch of green days in a row, which really ran from a little over $1 to almost $5 before putting in a couple lower highs. I'd prefer this to be kind of down in this buy zone we look for. I'd like another red day, then it would be more interesting, but I'm going to put it on bounce watch for Monday and just see. I didn't type that right, FSLY. Man, this was almost 140 a little over a week ago, and now it's sitting at 76 something. And if you look, I always look to the left, right? Here's where it closed. You draw a line to the left. It's got pretty good support here. It held this area pretty well. So for me, that makes it a decent bounce candidate this coming week. So that's why that one's on watch. Mark had a big breakout. I think they had news that included Intel in the name of in the headline. So by now, traders have probably had more time to do some research. And if it pans out that collaboration, I guess you'd call it, with Intel is legit, we could have a nice follow-through day. So that's why Mark is on watch. SURF. You had this big pop back here, really just kind of flagging below $10. So that one's on watch. Remember, I'm a day trader. I'm looking for things to give me a possible intraday trade the next day when you watch these videos, all right? VOC had a big pop back here, kind of a secondary pop here, tertiary one here, and topped out pretty close to $2. So it's kind of interesting, maybe over 2. Certainly seems to be getting some activity. It's worth noting that, that pop on like Friday's range still was only 172 to 198. So I was hesitant to put this on the list, but it's kind of an interesting chart. It's not a big mover, but anyway, I'm putting it on watch. SONO. Pretty interesting, over 16 bucks. I mean, it's flirting with the $16 area back here, and then again here. Decent volume the last couple days. Let's watch that one. I actually own their system and love it for what it's worth. Sabre, SABR, had a big pop on Thursday. Kind of a quiet inside day on Friday. Looking for a third day setup there. JKS, man, let me take the last 3 days out of this. I don't know that I've ever seen a chart do this, where it just every day was higher, right? I literally watched this thing run from 25 to almost 90 without ever getting involved. Well, now, now you've got some ugly downside candles. So, and it is kind of sitting in that buy zone. So this one is going to go on watch. Just one of our bounce play setups that we teach in the course is what I'm looking for. And then PEIX, another really strong stock this few days down into the 20-day. Also on bounce watch. Hopefully we'll find some gappers to add to this list as well. And there should be plenty to trade, but just keep in mind what we've been saying. I think maybe between now and election day, there's so much uncertainty that not a lot of things are following through, and there's a lot of choppiness. So let's certainly be aware of that and share reminders of that as the week unfolds, so nobody gets stupid and blows up their account, or if we catch people kind of boredom trading when there's not really a setup there. I hope to be there to remind you, of the bigger picture, if you will. All right. Anyway, I'm done babbling. We'll see you in chat in the morning.